My family's had a ranch for 50 years next year in the North County. I'll give you a little hint. When I was 8 years old, I planted the avocados and oranges at our ranch in Bonzel with my father and mother. So if you do your math quick, you can figure out how old I am. I am married and have 4 kids and live in Solana Beach right now. Have been elected as identified since 2006 and serving, if you're not familiar with the 74th Assembly District, that represents most of North County, and I'll go through. There are 18 cities in San Diego County, and I am proud to represent all or part of 9 of those. All of the city of Del Mar, all the city of Solana Beach, a little portion of San Diego, then all of the city of Encinitas, all of the city of Carlsbad, a small portion of Oceanside, and all of Vista, all of San Marcos, and 2/3 of Escondido. Just to keep you informed, you know that we had a census last year, 2010, that there is a new, or 2 new districts actually, that make up what my district was. There are in the Assembly District 465,000 people in the state assembly, and there are 80 assembly districts. A lot of numbers, but as I said, I'm a businessman, and a long time ago my father taught me that figures don't lie, but liars can figure. And so just give them the facts, and the people can decide for themselves. And so I wanted to share some of those things with you. Over the past 5 years, as I have proudly served the North County that I call home, I've had the pleasure of working on several successful initiatives. When I say initiatives or bills, one was saving the 760 area code. If you may recall that a couple years back, they were going to split our area code and give us a brand new one. Unnecessary. And when it came down to it, I reached out to all 6 cities in the North County that were going to be affected by that split, and those chambers of commerces, and found out there were over 32,400 businesses that were going to be negatively affected because of the Public Utility Commission, another out-of-control government bureaucracy that just arbitrarily was going to impose a area code split, affecting families, individuals, and businesses to the tune of what came out to over $100 million. We were successful in persuading them not to do that. Just like your cell phone, you travel everywhere with it, you can just do an overlay. So that was one of the successful ones that I'm very pleased with as a businessman, as a resident. Thank you. Saving that 760 area code. Another was working with gas stations to save them from some of the California Air Resources Board's new fines that they were trying to impose, and we were successful in the CARB giving back over $1 million in fines that they had illegally imposed on businesses. Another one that you'd know right here, just down the street, was the helping to keep Tri-City Hospital open. The OSHPOD, another government agency in California, was trying to close down 2 of the towers, and we were able to get them an extension while they both raise money and or build new buildings to retrofit those 2 towers at Tri-City. And one more thing that I wanted to identify was I was pleased that last year in 2010, my colleagues felt strong enough to appoint me as their Republican leader, I like to call it, instead of minority leader. There are 2 sides in Sacramento, right and left, liberal and responsible, I like to say. And so I was the leader. And during that time, we negotiated a budget that had no taxes in it for the first time in a long time. You may recall that in 2009, under bad leadership, in my opinion, the Republicans, 3 of them, jumped the boat and passed an increase in sales tax, an increase in income tax, an increase in car tax, and an increase in even or a decrease in your child deduction tax. That rolled off this past year in January of 2011, and again in June, the other half of those, and we've kept those off by working hard to hold the caucus, as it's called, the 28 Republicans that exist in Sacramento together. You know that because of Prop 13 passed back in '78, that we still have a requirement of 2/3 to pass any new taxes. We were able to add in 2010 the additional requirement for 2/3 for any increases in fees, which I think was a true blessing and will help reduce the number of taxes and fees or increases that the other side continually tries to foist on all of us, because we don't have a taxing problem. What we have here is truly a spending problem. We have enough taxes. Does anyone... You know what the #1 state in the United States is for sales tax? California. You know the question. What is the #2 state for income tax? California. The #1 state for income tax is Hawaii, with over 11.5% income tax at the highest bracket. But their sales tax is only 4.25%. So figure that. That's just a couple facts I wanted to share with you, putting into perspective where we stand amongst all the rest of the states. Over the past 5 years in serving the Assembly, there have been introduced 11,878 bills. Think about that. 11,878 new bills. That's on an average of 2,500 bills a year. That's too many bills. And that's why I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes, after I go through a few bills that I have identified as the 5 top worst bills of the past year, 2011. Number 5 was the elimination of fingerprinting for food stamps. We had that requirement in the state of California, and this liberal legislature in the past year removed the requirement for fingerprinting, which had saved $60 to $100 million in fraud in food stamps, and that was just eliminated in the past couple months. Number 4 was AB 109, the criminal justice realignment. You might have heard about that. They're reallocating money, and instead of putting it in and keeping prisoners in prison, they're going to send the prisoners from prisons down to jails, our local jails, and or release some of them that they think are non-violent. Now that doesn't mean that they weren't selling drugs or other items, but that is unacceptable. Number 3, AB 1236, the E-Verify, employee verification. You may be familiar that the city of Escondido implemented that. Oh, the capital found out about it, and there were several other cities and counties that were starting to do it, and they quickly wrote a law, and in the last 5 days pushed through a law that said no cities or counties can utilize E-Verify to verify or to check if you are or are not a legal citizen here in the state of California. Unacceptable.
That's due to the Democratic.
That's due to exactly. The Democratic majority passed that. The last 2 ones, both terribly objectionable. AB 499, STD treatment. This is for kids as young as 12 years old can receive medical treatment without parental consent. Do you believe that? I can't believe that. But at the same time, and a week before that, they passed a law requiring kids from 12 to 18 get their parents' permission to use a tanning bed. Now tell me, their principles and values are not screwed up, excuse my baseline. Last, AB 131, the DREAM Act. This isn't a DREAM Act, this is truly a nightmare financially for Californians, for everyone else that's responsible. This would allow illegal immigrants who are here, their children, and anyone else that was interested in getting financial aid to go to our universities and colleges. And that is a crime, in my opinion.